the CVM reports are not an honest assessment of what's going on. As I said before, none of the concerns that have been expressed by me and by Daniel and by the Romanian Union of Judges and by lots and lots of people in Romanian civil society are in any way reflected in the CVM reports. There's been extensive media coverage over the last year to show that the Domestic Intelligence Agency plays an unhealthy and indeed unconstitutional illegal role in directing the judicial system inside Romania for reasons that remain opaque but can nevertheless be discerned from various things that have emerged, including a motive of political control and possibly financial gain. None of that has been seriously addressed by the European Commission, who instead take at face value everything that was said to them by the DNA and by Laura Kövesi. That needs to change. And given the prominence with which all of this information is available to anyone who's prepared to look for it, I can only describe the Commission's accounts as falsified. They can't be unaware of this. They can't be, I think, seriously persuaded that none of this evidence is credible. What they're doing amounts to falsification, I'm afraid. Now, as to what can be done, I mean, I think denying Romania the presidency of the European Union, I wouldn't say they don't deserve that. What I would say is that there are a lot of steps that need to be taken before you get to that nuclear option. Lots of things that can be done on a smaller scale, one of which is to start being honest about what's going on and reflecting it in official European Commission assessments. Now, I understand the Commission's position. They find it often very difficult to be honest about what's happening in their member states because they don't want to attract criticism and pressure from member states. Although they're independent, they nevertheless, as we know, as anyone who's worked closely with the EU knows, the Commission are sensitive to the opinions and pressures from member states. It's not unusual what they're doing in relation to Romania. It's taken them a very, very long time to start really dealing seriously with what's happening in Hungary. That's been going on for 8 years now, and they're only just now beginning to get to grips with it. They've been in denial for many years. They've been slightly quicker in the case of Poland, but still I think it's taken them quite a long time to really get to grips with, far too long in fact, to get to grips with what's being done in Poland. And of course, now that it would have been easier for the European Commission to deal with some of these issues in 2010, 2011, when it started happening in Hungary, and when they were the only rotten apple in the barrel. Now that there's more than one rotten apple in the barrel, it's much, much harder for them to act. So that's something that the EU system needs to address, because it's going to become, unfortunately, a growing problem. Governance issues within the EU are going to become an increasing problem, precisely because it wasn't nipped in the bud at an early enough stage in the first place.
Yeah, I will have one question, but it will be afterwards. You wanted to ask
another question. Thank you very much. You mentioned briefly the term abuse of